keeping up with what's hot in the Philippines, you really can't ignore esports these days.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gone from kind of niche to like a huge global phenomenon.
Absolutely.
And the Philippines is right there in the thick of it. And we keep seeing these amazing Filipino esports talents just popping up.
Yeah.
And today we are diving into a fascinating new initiative that's really looking to push that even further.
That's right. We're taking a deep dive into this brand new thing. The very first League of Cities of the Philippines. That's LCP, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang Tournament.
Okay.
So we've got some pretty cool sources to unpack here.
All right.
First up, we have excerpts from a YouTube interview.
Okay.
And this interview features some real key players. Mayor Javi Benitez, he is the LCP's focal mayor for youth and sports development.
Okay.
So basically the point person for these kinds of initiatives, right?
Yeah.
We've also got Roland Susi from Advanced Play Broadcast. They're a company specializing in esports broadcasting.
Okay.
And then to round it out, we have Shinbu Panera. Now, he's the head of league operations for this whole tournament.
So the guy in charge.
Pretty much, yeah. And in addition to the interview, we've got this news article reporting on the tournament's grand finale.
Okay, so let's unpack all of this.
Sounds good.
Our mission in this deep dive is to really try to understand what this first ever tournament means. Like, what was the whole impetus behind creating it? What actually happened?
Right.
And then zooming out, what could it mean for the future of gaming in the Philippines, maybe even more broadly, for how young Filipinos are developing skills for the future?
Exactly. A lot to dig into.
Yeah.
So let's start right at the beginning.
Okay.
According to this YouTube interview, the real driving force behind all of this seems to be Mayor Javi Benitez. Now, in his role, remember, he's the LCP focal mayor for youth and sports development.
Right.
He was really, really keen to connect with young people.
Okay.
And he just saw esports as like this really powerful way to do it.
It makes total sense when you think about it. Like, if you want to connect with a certain group of people, you've got to go where they are.
Exactly. Meet them where they are.
And the Philippines has a huge youth population.
Absolutely.
And esports is just the central thing for them.
It's undeniably the place to be.
Yeah. And Mayor Benitez, he mentioned how the LCP wanted to create something different. A different kind of competition compared to traditional sports.
Right.
Something that every city, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, can easily be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah, it levels the playing field geographically, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all online.
Exactly. And one thing that I thought was really fascinating is just how much support this whole thing got from the LCP itself.
Yeah.
Mayor Benitez specifically thanked the national president, Mayor Joy Belmonte, the national chairman, Mayor Albi Benitez, and the whole LCP secretariat.
Right. They all came together on this.
It shows how seriously they all took this whole endeavor.
Definitely. A real team effort.
Now let's zoom in on the game itself, Mobile Legends. Bang, bang. Why did they pick this specific game?
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a random choice, you know.
Right.
According to them, Mayor Benitez really emphasized just how popular, insanely popular MLBB is in the Philippines. He threw out this stat, 50 million plus gamers.
That's wild.
That is a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's not even just the number of players, right?
Yeah.
The Philippines has this incredible track record, like a winning history with MLBB.
Oh, yeah.
They dominate regionally and globally. I mean, they even have world championship titles under their belt.
Yeah.
There's a real sense of national pride tied to this game.
Absolutely. I also thought it was really interesting that Mayor Benitez made this point that the government, through organizations like the LCP, shouldn't just be watching the digital future unfold.
Yeah.
They should be active participants, helping shape it.
Right.
That's pretty forward-thinking for someone in local government.
For sure, yeah.
He also touched on a key point about MLBB itself.
Okay.
It's not all just about individual skill. It's about strategy, teamwork, working together.
Right.
He believes that young people, they can actually pick up valuable digital skills through playing this game.
Yeah.
It's more than just fun.
Exactly. It's like learning disguised as entertainment.
And in the interview, Roland Susi really backed up that point.
Yeah.
He talked about the wider impact, not just for the players,
Right.
but for aspiring commentators, people interested in league operations, the whole esports ecosystem.
Yeah.
It creates a whole bunch of career paths.
Absolutely. It opens a lot of doors, not just for the players themselves.
Exactly. And then Shinbu Panera, he jumped in to explain how the tournament was structured.
Okay.
So it's a multi-stage format.
Mm.
It started with a group stage, 28 teams split into 4 groups.
Okay.
And then the top 2 teams from each of those groups, they move on to a playoff knockout stage.
Right.
And then that all leads to the big finale.
So pretty standard tournament structure.
I thought it was interesting that they first invited 22 cities to participate, but then they were flexible. They let some cities send 2 teams.
Okay, so they were willing to adapt.
Yeah, very accommodating.
Yeah.
But what really blew my mind was that the news article mentioned that 149 cities ended up participating in the finals.
Whoa. That's a huge jump from the initial invitation.
Yeah, it's a lot of cities. It really shows just how much enthusiasm there was for this.
Definitely. And we can't forget about the prize money.
The prize pool, yeah.
Total of 3 million pesos.
Wow.
With a whopping 1 million peso grand prize.
That's life-changing money.
It is. And Minerva really emphasized that this level of prize money, it's on par with what you see in professional leagues.
That's huge.
Yeah, they really wanted to make this a serious competition.
That's a big incentive. So who ended up battling it out for the big prize?
Well, the grand finals went down on March 13th, 2025 at Soler Resort North in Quezon City.
Okay.
And it was this intense best-of-7 series.
So the first team to win 4 matches takes it all.
Exactly. And the news article, it really made it sound like an epic battle.
Yeah, a real nail-biter.
Oh, yeah. Down to the wire. It was Game 7 that finally decided it.
Okay, who won?
Uncle Drew Gamerpact Ascend from Malolo City. They're the champions.
Wow.
Yeah, they took down another team also from Malolo City.
No way.
Minerva Esports. A real local rivalry playing out on the national stage.
That's so cool. Talk about hometown pride. So the article mentions some of the highlights.
Oh, yeah.
Tactical maneuvers, hero selections, intense team fights.
It really sounds like it was a sight to see.
Oh, I bet. Now, even though Minerva Esports didn't win, they still went home with a pretty hefty prize, right?
Yeah, they got 500,000 pesos as the first runner-up. And then Kusug Cebu City Niños LVD, the second runner-up. They got 500,000 pesos, too.
Okay.
Each of the quarterfinalist teams, they got 250,000 pesos.
Wow.
So the other teams in the quarterfinals were Team CDO Rise Heroes from Cagayan de Oro, New Game from Cadiz, Bacolod 6100, and Quezon City's team.
So really representing the whole country, for sure. Now let's zoom out a little bit again.
Okay.
Beyond just the thrill of the tournament, what kind of impact can we expect to see from all of this?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Well, Mayor Albi Benitez, the LCP national chairperson, he said that this tournament was designed to find and nurture the best esports athletes.
Right.
The ones who could go on to represent the Philippines internationally.
It's like a pipeline for future esports stars.
Exactly. And that fits perfectly with what Mayor Javi Benitez was saying about nation building and inspiring athletes through esports. He sees this as more than just playing games. It's an entire industry with potential for digital jobs, building valuable digital skills for young Filipinos.
Oh, right. And he even compared it to how a lot of big tech founders got their start in gaming.
It's interesting to think about.
It is. And this whole idea is getting more and more recognition.
Yeah.
Like esports are now in big events like the Asian Games.
Yeah.
And there's talk about them being included in the Olympics, maybe as soon as 2027, according to Shinbu Panera.
Wow, that's huge.
It really shows how esports are becoming mainstream.
Absolutely. And the viewership numbers are impressive, too. Mayor Benitez mentioned they had 50,000 plus viewers just during the screening phase.
That's before the tournament even really started.
Yeah, that's a lot of interest.
And they broadcast the grand finals live on the LCP Facebook page and the Filipinas Live app with help from Signal TV.
So anyone could watch.
Exactly. They wanted to make it accessible to as many people as possible. It sounds like this whole thing really exceeded expectations.
It does. Mayor Benitez even mentioned the possibility of expanding it in the future.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe even adding more cities and games. But he said it depends on who becomes the next focal mayor after the elections.
So there's potential for this to become even bigger.
Absolutely. The success of this first LCP MLBB tournament, it really cemented esports as part of Filipino sports culture. The news article basically said that as more cities invest in their own local esports programs, we're going to see tournaments like this grow even bigger, even more impactful.
Like a snowball effect.
Yeah. And that will pave the way for even more Filipino esports champions in the future.
For sure.
So to sum it all up, the inaugural LCP Mobile Legends tournament, a resounding success.
Absolutely.
It brought together a ton of cities from all over the Philippines. showcased some incredible talent and offered some serious life-changing prize money.
Yeah, it really speaks to how passionate Filipinos are about esports.
And it shows how the government is starting to recognize the potential of esports, for engaging young people and fostering talent.
Yeah, it's great to see this kind of support at the local government level.
It really could have some lasting positive effects for Philippine esports. It makes you think, with esports blowing up like this and the government getting involved, what other institutions or industries in the Philippines could be transformed digitally? What other opportunities are there to engage young Filipinos in new and exciting ways?
Yeah, what's next?
It's a really interesting question.
It is. A lot to think about.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in the future of Philippine esports.
For sure.
And we'll be here to cover it every step of the way.
Absolutely. We'll keep you updated on all the latest developments.
So until next time, keep on gaming, keep on learning, and keep on supporting Philippine esports.
And stay tuned for our next deep dive.
We'll see you then.